Hello everyone, this is Guitar, and I am going to be doing a pretty quick tutorial, at least I'll make it as quick as possible, on how I would go about UV unwrapping something like this and importing to Unreal Engine and not getting the lightmap overlap error. This was a request from a user. I am not going to pronounce your name because it's a little hard for me to pronounce and I'm going to go ahead and just spare everybody that embarrassment. So let's go ahead and get started on how I would go ahead and UV map this. And again, I'm going to do this without any cuts, no edits or anything like that. I'm just going to do it from this beginning point to getting it into the Unreal Engine to show you that this will work. So what I am going to do first is go ahead and drop my UV unwrap. I'm going to turn off my backface, ignore backface coal, bring this up. And as you can see, there's nothing here. I made this mesh real quick. So turn on my checker so I can see what's going on here. And as you can see, 3DS kind of tried its hardest to do something. Not really sure what, but yeah. So in terms of how I would UV map this, I am always thinking about how am I going to be texturing this to make this easy for myself. And what I mean by that is something like this molding down here. Like I say, it depends on the project of what you're trying to do. I would probably want to have this a different color than what the walls and the floor is going to be. So ideally, what I'm going to do is instead of trying to, possibly grab all of this like this or like that, and then try to put a big old planar projection on that, because if you do this, or if you do it like this, hit fit, let's go into left view, and let's rotate it like that, hit fit. See, it does come out fine, but then you got this right here, and this is where the molding is, right around here. And this is, like I said, this is going to be very hard to texture. Maybe I want like a nice wood finish for this, and maybe just generic plaster wall, and for the floor just a generic carpet kind of texture, and then nice wood for this. That's going to be extremely hard to texture like that. And even then, as you can probably see, these these edges are very close. So that's probably where the overlapping UVs error might be coming into play at. So we're not going to do it like that. So let's go ahead and undo this. All right. So what I would do, and like I said, there's no right way to do it. There's always a better way, or maybe an optimized or a meta way, I guess you could say, to do this. But what I would do is I would grab this entire wall, because I'm probably going to make this one kind of texture. Put a planer on it. Let me turn on my angle snap to make this a little easier. Rotate this 90 degrees. Hit fit. And bam. Just like that, we got this wall. Now, I could hit quick peel. And quick peel is pretty much going to read the geometry and then read the UVs and take that into account to make it as, I guess, effectively using the space as possible while keeping everything centered, even though it did. There we go. Which is fine. We can leave it like that. So, do that. Let's do the floor real quick. And let's rotate. Whoop. Hit fit. As you see, we got a lot of stretching. We could easily fix that ourselves by going to scale, hold shift, and if I scroll down, that will pop this out. but what I'm gonna do is go ahead and hit quick peel again, and as you can see, it made, well, didn't make it completely. There we go. Pretty much what I wanted was this edge of this UV to match up with this one right here, or as close as possible, just to get everything to the same, as close as possible. I'm gonna move that there. So cool. See, we have the wall and floor done just like that. So let's get this molding. Now, what I'm going to do to make this easy, I'm going to grab all of this, hold Alt, left click and drag, and release, and that will get rid of everything here, so I just have the molding. So now that I just have that, let's put a planar projection. Let's see, where is this? Let's just hit fit. Alright, and let's go ahead, do that. Alright, now, you see these UVs are extremely stretched, and again, let's toggle this off so I can actually interact here. Let's hold, hit R to scale, hold shift, and left click and drag down. Alright, it's looking pretty good. And let's see, which way do I need to drag this? Again, I'm trying to get these to match this edge here and this edge here where this blue is to match up here if I can. It's a little easier said than done at times, and sometimes it really doesn't matter too much. But it is a thing that you want to try to do, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. When you do, you want to be a lot more meticulous about it, but I don't want this video to be too terribly long. Also, let's keep everything kind of together, or where it should be. So there we go. So we got the wall, we got this molding, and we have the floor done just like that. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's far enough apart. It should be okay. Let's scale it up just a smidge, just to make sure that it's, yeah, that's good right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this windowsill. Now, the way I would think about doing this, again, is how am I going to texture it? In real life, windowsills, well, molding, or frames, or whatever you want to call it, they usually are segmented into positions, or into sides. So windowsill will have this side, it will have my phone, this side, this will be a separate piece, and then this would be a separate piece as well. So usually that's, in real life, when you look at one, that's how they are. Sometimes they're probably squared off here, but it depends on what your mesh is going to be like. So in essence, you want to try to follow that kind of thinking, is to do it in segments. Now, for something like this, I really don't need to do it in segment. Let's actually go ahead and do it in a segment. That would be the best. Let's just do it like that. Let's go ahead and grab all this, and as you see, it's kind of a weird kind of angle. So let me go ahead and put a planar map on it, and it's gonna be a little weird. Bear with me, but I'm gonna hit fit, and as you can see, we are super stretched out. Now, we could take and fiddle with this and rotate it and scale it and everything, but let's try to use the quick peel to see what it gives. Hey, look at that. Quick peel saves lives. Always, if you have a problem with your UVs being weird, always try quick peel first. A lot of times that will save you a lot of headache. So we'll move that there. Let's go ahead. We'll do the same thing over here. We'll do the sides first because my planar map is already set up to be on the side. Then, yep, there we go. Let's go ahead and move this bad boy here. Alright, now let's grab these, or this one up here. Now, go ahead and quit. Yeah, okay, that's good. It's actually being really nice to me. As I said, quick peel can be hit or miss sometimes, but most of the time it usually works out pretty well. Let's move this up here. Let's grab this here. Now, let's go ahead and again, I want to try to avoid this. See, it's stretching a little bit. Let's try to avoid that as best we can. But I want to get this a little more in there. Just a little bit, ever so slightly. Just so when we go to texture it, it doesn't go wonky, or get some like stretchy parts where we don't really want them. So I'll go ahead and leave that. Go ahead and scale it down. Move this right here. Now, we got all of this done. And so next is going to be this interior part. Let's see. Usually in real life, these parts, this part here and this part here are usually one thing, and this here is usually one piece. Like this will be one thing overlapping, and in this section right here will be kind of underneath of it. Again, it depends on how you want to texture it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and grab all of this and this here too. And let's go ahead, planar projection. Now, this is probably going to do something weird because as you can see, I have a seam going up here and here, and I definitely don't want that. So let's go ahead and move this a bit. Let's see, what is it doing? Let's see what this does. It's doing some funkiness. Let's hit peel. Yeah, that didn't do anything that we wanted. Interesting that it's doing that. Normally when you put a planar map on something, it normally will get rid of all the seams. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and we'll leave that for last. Let's go ahead and grab this right here. Actually, let's see. Yeah. Or I can just do that just without hitting the projection map. And just grab this here. And let's go ahead. Try to avoid it stretching as best we can. As you see, it's not 100%, these edges are not 100% straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these edges, these vertical ones. I don't know if you can do them all at once. No, you should not. Just grab them one at a time and hit this align vertically to pivot. And this will straighten out these edges. Now they weren't super stretched, but just to be safe. And then for this one, align horizontally. So there we go. And let's go ahead, let's move this right here. Let's go ahead and grab you. And as you see, we have this seam here. So let's go ahead and hit this planar map. And it got rid of it that time, which is nice. Alright. And then this is sideways. So let's see about getting this. Where does this need to go? Like that. Around like that. Oop. There we go. So, go to edge. So let's go ahead. again, like I said, I'm thinking about how I want to texture this. Ideally, you want to be thinking about how you're going to be texturing something as you're creating it, but you also want to do it as you're UVing just to make it easier for you. Alright, there we go. That's good right there. Now, we got this last... Oh, well, let's grab this real quick. This will be an easy one, just a planar projection. There we go. That really doesn't need to be here. This honestly could be separated out and to make it into glass. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and grab this one that's being a little bit of a problem. Yeah, it's still giving me these seams. Now, what we can do is we can edit these seams. See if it will let me. You're gonna let me get rid of you? No. Oop. Nope. No. Yeah, it's not gonna really let me do it. Because I want to be able to get rid of this seam, but it's being fussy. Like I said, ideally, normally when you do this, you hit this planar map, it usually gets rid of the seams, but for some reason it's giving them to me, and maybe an issue with the mesh itself. So what I will do instead, I'm going to grab this. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's probably an issue with the mesh. Probably didn't make it. Like I said, I threw it together real quick. I really wasn't paying too much attention. But it's okay. Let's go ahead and grab this. We'll do it face by face. So let's go. Oh, go ahead. Let's see, where is this going? Let's go into my wireframe to see if I can find where this is doing. Ah, here we go. A little sideways. Let's bump it over here. And that should be good. Let's go back. Also, F3, that's how you go into your invisible wireframe mode. Let's turn that off. Let's hit quick peel. There we go. And let's rotate it here. Let's grab this. And we'll move you here. Yeah, as you can see, it's a little, like I said, I threw this together really quick. But it's okay. And let's go ahead and grab these. And let's put projection, and let's hit planar, or quick peel real quick, and then we have this. Now, this isn't really ideal for this to be that way. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna grab this one. Let's see, this should be here. Yeah, it looks like there's, you can't really see it, but it looks like there's a vertice. Yeah, there we go. Vertice is not quite welded. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Let's go yes and hold. Let's go into wireframe. Let's target weld that. I knew something was fishy. Let's do that. A little bit of debugging as you go. Never hurt anyone. Let's see, is this one? Oh, this one, no. Yeah. Probably when I hit weld, I missed them, which is fine. But let's go to back to my UV. See, everything is still fine. Let's toggle off and toggle back on. Yeah, okay. Everything is the way it should be now. So, aha, see, there we go. Because I had some open geometry, it wouldn't allow me to do that or do it this way. I kind of figured as much, so, but there we go. As you see, Let's go ahead, rotate this as fast as possible. Put this here. Let's see, rotate angle snap. Whoa. Rotate this 90 degrees. Let's go ahead and scale this down to about where it should be. Let's not do that, actually. It's fine. And then rotate this. Put this right here. Alright, so we have everything UV'd. Right. Oh, I'll get back. I'll do that in just a second. So everything is UV'd, and so we just need to get everything into this section here. Now, you may be thinking to just grab all of this and hit pack normalize, which surprisingly worked pretty well. And it got everything in here pretty much so it's all the same kind of resolution, which is great. We do have some stretching here, as you can see, because it's too, let's say it's too small. Yeah, it's a little too small, so that's why it's doing it like that. And that's where you have to make a bit of an executive decision on what you want to have to be high resolution and what you want to be lower resolution. If you're gonna have a lot of like nice wood texture on here and everything you want to pop out, you would definitely want to prioritize this section, these parts that here, and make them bigger to give them more space so you can have more resolution. Or in your, while you're texturing, you want to make sure that those sections have the bigger, prioritize that to have more resolution. Ideally, you want to do it here and just make these bigger. And these up here, kind of split them up. But if this is just going to have like a flat kind of texture and you're not really too concerned about it, then this is fine. Ideally, you kind of don't want to do that. Again, you want to try to keep everything as close together as possible in these, like this checkered size. You want everything to be matched as close as possible. It's, again, it's not that easy to do, but that's what you want to try to aim for. But what I'm going to do is, in order to get these pieces more resolution, I'm going to go ahead and scale this one down, because this is probably just going to have a big old fat flat texture on it, and I'm not too concerned about it. So I'm going to go ahead, scale this down, put this here. I'm also going to grab this, and if you're wondering how I'm able to just click on like one piece of it and grab the entire thing, I'm doing poly and then select by element. So if you turn this off, it'll just select the poly. You turn this on, it selects the entire thing. So I'm going to go ahead, scale this down so these two are relatively the same. I'm going to get them right there. And then what I'm going to do is grab this one. I'm going to set this up so when I go to texture, I know where things are in relation to each other. So I'm pretty much just going to build out the window in a sense. So put this here, put that there. Let's go ahead and move this here. Let's get these out of the way. Put this here. We go with the top, and here's the bottom. Again, you just want to make it easy for yourself. You don't want to be looking at your UV map and thinking to yourself, okay, now where is this? Because I have no idea. Because you have full control over this. I'm going to go ahead and, not too big, but scale this up. Now, I'm going to move these glass panels right here. And we're going to go ahead and, grab this, because this is looking a little lower resolution as well. So we're going to go ahead, can't do too much to it because there's not that much space. see about, yeah, let's try to get it about there. That should give us enough resolution to do what we want. It's not too terribly stretched. There we go. Because we want to keep it as close as possible. Yeah, there we go. That's good. And then these right here. Let's see. What is this? This is the left side. So let's go ahead and put this here. We'll put that there. Let's go ahead. Give them some extra resolution because I've decided I want to give this window something. Give this window some nice looks. There we go. Everything is still good enough distance apart. So with this part right here that's going to be kind of like the glass, this is going to be the interesting part. Ideally, well, not ideally, really what you want to do is not have this part of your main mesh. Or if you have part of your main mesh, you want these to be in a material ID group on its own. And your programming tool, whether it's Substance Painter or 3D Code or Photoshop, they don't generally do, you can texture this all in one thing and then texture, put a nice glass material on here and it will look nice in Substance Painter. But once you export out your maps, it's going to take your opacity that you use for the glass and apply it to everything. The maps don't generally discriminate against what's supposed to be opacity and what's not. It applies it to the entire thing. So ideally, you don't want, if this is going to be a glassy see-through area, you don't want this on here. But if it's just going to be like black or white or something that's going to simulate glass but not really be glass, then this is okay. Now, we could, again, if you also, I guess you could do, if you wanted to, again, not have it to be see-through, but have like stained glass or something like that, you also want to give it the same treatment as over here and make it so, let's move this a little bit, and make it so that these are larger so you can have some more resolution in it. Again, you still, because we're using this as Unreal, we want to make sure we give this as much real estate as possible from everything else. Make sure we get a good lighting bake. So there we go. That looks good, and this is pretty much prepared. So we're going to go ahead and collapse all. Let's go ahead and export this. We'll stick it to my desktop. We don't really need it for anything. And let's just call this window. Yeah, let's just call this window. Oh, before I forget, you may be thinking to yourself, do I need to put, in my first video, do I need to put another, another map channel on here? For this, we really shouldn't need to because again, everything is far enough away from one another. Let's move this up a little bit. There we go. Everything is far enough away from one another that they're not that close, so they shouldn't be overlapping each other. So we don't really need another map channel to run as the light map. We can use this right here for Unreal to use as our light map. So go ahead, collapse all again. Let's export. And my desktop window. Yeah. Alright, cool. So let me go ahead, spring over Unreal. Now. And wait. Alright. Go to my content and let's see, where is it? Ah, here we go. Let's go ahead. Let's import this here. let's see, generate lightmap UVs automatic. This will generate them automatically. Make sure that's checked off. We don't really need to do this. Everything else we can leave alone. Let's hit import. All right, we didn't get an error. All right, we didn't get an error telling us that our UVs or we have a zero tangent thing. If pretty much if you get an error like that, that's pretty much Unreal telling you that hey, you might have some overlapping UVs, and luckily we don't. So I'm gonna go ahead, drop this in. Let's go ahead and reset this to 0. Let me get rid of that. And slowly fly over here. And here we are. Now, let's go ahead, let's open up our information about the mesh here. And as you can see, we got the wall, we got the molding, we got the frame, floor, everything looks fine. This checker pattern is pretty much our UVs, and everything that needs to be within relation to one another looks pretty good. We have our UV channel, and here we go. This is what it's going to be using for our light map. So, and close that, and let's go ahead and build our lighting real quick. I'm gonna set my lighting quality to preview. That will make our lighting build a lot faster, so we're not doing a full big fat production one that's going to take forever. And let's go ahead and build lighting only. We'll take a minute. And oh, okay, still building. And okay, there we go. And our lighting is complete. And as you see, we have no errors. We have a map check, but whatever. But you see no errors with the light map. So, like I said, that is my little bit of artifacting, but that's because we're on production lighting. But as you see, this is, oh my, like I said, this would be how I would go about, like, oh, I moved it. Oh, that's nice. This would be about, that's the walk, my flow on how I would go about UV mapping, molding like that, and the frame around windows or doors or anything like that. Again, it's all about how you decide that you want to do it is going to determine the best way that you're going to want to go about UV mapping it. So I hope this helps. And again, like I said, because I don't have this glass area here, like I say, it should be its own material ID, but I'm not going to really worry about that too much. But again, I hope this this little quick tutorial helps. If anyone has any more questions or anything that they would like me to make a video of, again, from beginning to end on how to do different things, I will be more than happy to try to make a tutorial to show you, I said, my way of doing it. It may not be the best way, and it may not be the quote-unquote correct or political, well, not political, the meta way, but it is a way, and it's one of the more, I would feel, more effective ways of doing it. So you're not racking your brain trying to figure out something that really shouldn't be as hard as you may think it is. So again, if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any more questions that you would like me to make a video of, please feel free to let me know, and I will definitely try to help as best I can. And yeah, I'm also doing stuff with Substance Painter too, so if you have questions with Substance Painter, I will definitely try to help with that as well. Just pretty much trying to spread the knowledge of showing people how to do stuff without them going through hours and hours of trying to find YouTube videos that don't really do anything. But alright, with that, I will catch you guys later. Take care.